George, I'll just start with, the first question. Why were you looking to sell? Like, what was the start of the process?
Yes, so I was buying a new home and I myself and my spouse we decided that to one of the best ways we hope to achieve our what we wanted to do was to sell our present home. We considered keeping it, but at the end of the day, we felt that selling our present home was the best option for us.
Right. And your home is located in Livingston, which is definitely a newer and attractive part of the city. And you are also moving in the same community, right?
Yes, yes. So Livingston has been home for 4 years now. And so when we were looking to buy a new home, we definitely wanted to stay in Livingston. We explored other communities, but ultimately we came back to Livingston and then we found what we were looking for in a new home. So yes, we chose to stay in Livingston.
Perfect. So from the moment you decided to, okay, we have to potentially sell, right? What was going in your mind? Because uh, especially around new homes, they have a they don't have a firm close date yet. So people are always confused when should we sell? How early? You can sell it too early or you can sell too late. So what was going around in your mind?
Yes, so that was one of the biggest hurdles we had to overcome in selling our home because, like you said, quite rightly, with new homes, we didn't have a firm possession date. We just had like an estimate of when the home would be ready. And so the challenge was what time is good to sell our present home. And, considering the fact that we had to do it in such a way that it coincides with when we are taking possession of the new home and was certainly something we took some time with. What time is it? We sought different people's opinion, and then also considering the market at that particular time because we were going into the market when I guess there was a lull in the market, and then people were not quite sure when to sell, when to list, and all of that. And so for us, we're not just looking at the right time to sell a home in isolation. We're also looking at when was the right time to sell, to enable us take possession of the new home at the same time. So yes, it was a very big consideration for us.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I feel we always how I plan is to keep time in hand because time is our strength in negotiation. The
Hmm.
lesser time we have, your closing is very close, and it shows in our actions. We try to then wrap it
Yeah.
up faster and sell for lower than the home's value. So right, so I think we started pretty early. So what that process look like? Did you interview more people? Did you reach out? I'm sure, like all of us, we're looking for a service, or and this is such an important part of our life. Home is the biggest thing we own. So what did
Yeah.
you do before? Like, did you reach out to so many people?
Yes. So when we decided that we wanted to sell, I mean, even before then, because initially we wanted to keep the home and probably use it for investment purposes. But there was a whole lot involved in it. And then when we looked at it, we felt that that wasn't the best course of action for us. So we decided to sell. So we did interview a couple of other persons. I have a lot of friends, I would say friends who are realtors. I
Yeah.
did talk to a couple of them. We sampled different people's opinion. But we're looking for something a little bit more aggressive,
Hmm.
especially based off what we're seeing in the market. So, like I said, from what we could see, the market wasn't very favorable to sellers, especially. So we
Yep.
felt that we needed something a little bit more. So yes, we did interview a couple of persons. We got some perspective on how we should go about selling the home, and then I think it was in that same process that we reached out to you. I
Yeah.
think my wife saw your ad on Facebook or something, and then we
Yes.
reached out, and yeah, so we spoke. So even after we spoke to you, we spoke to a couple of other realtors. So I guess the one of the challenges was, okay, who do we go with or who do we not go with? Yeah. So
Hmm.
we
And
tried as much as possible to explore a number of persons before we settled for you.
absolutely. And this is a very valid point that you made about the market. Last few years, so many realtors have joined the business,
Okay.
and it was very easy to sell. Like two couple years ago, honestly, I think owners could sell it themselves. right? There's so much demand. You just need to put a sign on the lawn, and there's so much showings will keep coming. And then it flipped. And right now, realtors are leaving the business at a record pace because
Leaving the
it's
business.
yeah, it's not easy anymore, right? So it involves obviously, a lot of follow-ups, a lot of strategy, a lot of understanding of the local market where you are, pricing, relationship with other brokers in the market who can, bring the buyers. So all of that is coming into play. So you said, aggressiveness, but how did you judge it? Let's say ultimately you picked us. How did you measure aggressiveness?
So again, it was just like I said, we interviewed a couple of realtors and even just people who are not realtors, people who have some experience in what the real estate market is. I guess one of the indices we looked at was, what are you going to do differently from what other people were going to do? Because of course we know what it takes to sell what it takes to sell a home, or you list the home on MLS and then you wait for people to walk in and view, and then probably you get an offer and then you move on. But again, based off of what we could see from the market, one of the indices we noticed was houses were staying longer in the market from what we could see.
Absolutely.
Right. So we could see 60 days, 90 days in the market. So, and because we had like a goal, we knew that we had a new home waiting for us. We didn't want to get into that situation where we have to sell, um, just distress sell or something like that. So we felt that we needed something a little bit extra. So one of the things that you guys gave us was we could see value in what you were offering. One of the things I remember you said right off the bat from the first day we met was you said something about you were going to do ads on Facebook and Instagram and that. And for me, that was something new. That was not something I'd heard before, right? So I felt, okay, yes. So there was value in what you were offering in relation to some other realtors. And another thing we saw right off the bat was even before we signed that contract, you had already brought, one or two persons to view, I guess from your network or stuff like that. And for me, that was value. So yes. So those were some of the considerations we had in choosing you guys.
Amazing. And thank you for that. So now getting to when we listed the property, we did, bit of staging, depending on your home scenario, but your home looked pretty good anyways. Then what happened? What was the experience? When did, after we went on the market?
Yeah, so I guess from when we agreed to go with you guys, our experience was pretty good. Was a very good experience. From the staging, you brought a stager to the house, and then they suggested what we are going to do, and then you were involved in all of the process. So again, it is that value, adding value to the whole selling process. So you being involved in it also gave us a sense of comfort that okay, yes, so you didn't just talk the talk, you also walked the walk. So it's easy for you to find people who promise, who overpromise and underdeliver. And for that's one of the fears you get with when you are doing interviews for any kind of service. Somebody comes and tell you, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and then when it's time to deliver, they
Right.
are not able to do what they said they were going to do. So yeah, but with you guys, from the very beginning, the things you said you were going to do, you did. And from the setting up of the house, from the staging to arranging the house to putting it up for viewing and all of that stuff. So you were involved in the whole of the process, and it made it easier for us. Easier in the sense that we weren't alone in the whole of the process. You were there with us, and it gave us a sense of comfort, a sense of just knowing that your realtor is there. If you had any questions, you could reach out to this person. The person is going to help you out, and just helping us navigate the whole selling process was a very good one. So it was a nice experience.
Right. Thank you for that. And, and this is so important to me. Uh, we could do much more business if I let people under me do it. And that's what we see in the marketplace, especially, like in North and Adri, where we predominantly do listings. There are some really big names who, sellers do get attracted, and but they don't even come to see the property. And they're sending somebody who's not as experienced to list the property, to advise you, pricing, negotiate, all that stuff. I mean, and they just remain like the sticker on the just the lawn
Mhm,
sign, and
mhm.
that doesn't
Yep.
help. And it happened in one of your friends' scenario
Yep.
that the agent on the board, wasn't even there. And the
Yeah.
agent who was handling the transaction was relatively new, inexperienced in the listings. And that's why they were not getting proper advice. So we kind of stepped in and also sold that pretty quickly. But yeah, this is something, I'm keeping close to me that I want to like we do reasonable listings every month, but I do as much as I can personally stay involved rather than, assigning the task to someone who is not an expert in, negotiating these deals, right? So that's important to me. And that's what I do in all the cases. And that's what I did in your case. Amazing. Quickly moving on, I want to know, we got an offer pretty quickly and I know it was not a great, not the price what we wanted, but still a good price because that's where the market was heading, right? So, but we we kept working on the home, kept showing the property, and we got a backup offer. So how was that experience? Were you surprised that in this market we're getting two competing offers, two buyers trying to get our home?
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised, right? Like, yeah, so because when we got I think we got our offer after property only stayed 9 days in the market, if I'm
Hmm.
not mistaken.
Yep.
Yeah, so when we got the first offer and then it was below what we listed for, but for us it was still a reasonable offer, based off of what we had heard other people were experiencing in the market. So when we got the first offer and accepted it, we had kind of made our peace with, you know what? Okay, that's not too far off of, it was a little bit, but it was not too far off from what we listed. And we had made up our mind based on the market, and we're going to go ahead with this. And then we got another offer. We're like, okay, where is this coming from? And it was a significantly higher offer. Yeah, so we're pleasantly surprised with that, and we took that option, and eventually we sold for that amount, and yeah, so it was a very nice experience. In between, there was a little bit of not being sure. Are we sure we're taking the right decision and all of that stuff? But yes, so that was good. That was good.
Yeah, because the my style of working with anybody who brings an offer is treat them with a lot of respect. And this is what I see lacks. For example, there is a property where I put offer last week, and my buyers are really interested. They didn't even care to follow up back, because it was not the price they wanted, right? And but any offer I get, I send these guys can do more. I work with them. Like even in this market, I'm negotiating 30,000 more than the first offer, which is strange, but all it's got to do is just being nice and keep working with, and building that rapport with other agents. So this agent came up and said, we really like the house. I said, okay, this is negotiate a good price, and it worked. And I think that is a bit of a record on the street. This any townhome has not sold for this price, especially in this market, which is obviously great. Happy to see that getting good value for your home that your home deserves. Perfect. So these are all my questions. I just want to let you go with this one last question. What's your advice to sellers who are looking to sell in this market? I mean, what kind of due diligence should they do? What kind of analysis should they do? What kind of things they should look for?
Hmm, that's a difficult question. Okay, so from my
Because you
experience,
are a successful, experienced seller now.
okay, from my experience, the first thing will be there's a whole lot, but I think it depends on how you put your house up in the market. Because if you go in with a wrong price, if your house is not properly priced, I think that could affect how long it will stay in the market and if it will even sell. You have to work with a realtor, an agent who obviously knows what they're doing, who are experienced. And like I said, you've shown me not just with my own, with my own property, but with several other properties that I know you've worked on. You've shown me that you actually know what you're doing, because what I think you have done, at least for two other persons who are close to me that you have sold, you have used different strategies. And all of them are not the same, and they all worked. That means you obviously know how to read the market and what strategy to use. So my advice to anybody who wants to sell in this market will be, yes, so you have to get someone who is experienced in the market, who knows what they're doing. Your property has to be priced right. You have to be flexible. You have to be willing to make compromises here and there. And then you have to be involved in the process. You don't just leave it out to somebody selling my house and you're not involved. You have to be involved. You have to follow up. You have to know what's happening. And yeah, so I think if you do all of this, your house is priced right, you're using the right strategies to get people to view the house, eventually it's gonna sell. Because yes, like I said earlier, we've seen people who their houses are staying very long in the market. But with the couple that you have done, they don't stay that long. That means that whatever you are doing, you are probably doing it right. And that has to do with reading the market correctly, using the right strategies, pricing your house properly, and then just being flexible and then just ready to move with the tide, I guess. Yeah.
Perfect. Well said. I don't have final comments on this. You summed it so well. You spoke like an experienced realtor yourself, and now an experienced seller. And thanks for introducing so many people that you know. And I'm glad that I'm able to help them, as per their specific situation because it's so different for different people, right?
Mhm.
And so the pricing strategy, the marketing strategy, the kind of open houses we have to do is very different. And so we have to kind of see case by case and like also change and learn really fast. And I think that comes with uh, follow up, right? And I feel like I learned a lot from people who see the property and like really get to interview them. Like, okay, what did they feel? What did they find right? What did they find wrong? And kind of change it very quickly. And this is how we differentiate apart from our online marketing. And it is so funny the video that I put out for your home and marketed. I still get people reaching out to me, seeing that, oh, do you have such a home, right? So that helps, and that helps us, right? So we
Yeah.
invest behind great photography, great marketing. But thank you for being an amazing seller, and thank you for coming today and sharing your words. And hopefully, it's a much longer association, and we keep working together for many more homes and many more partners. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks,
Thank
George.
you.